Hi beautiful people, I'm back with another project for Sue at Paper Inspirations. She sent me such a great parcel and I ended up thinking of a couple of things I wanted to make with the things that she'd sent. They're things I've made before, I guess, and so you may or may not want to hang around and watch, but anyway, I'm going to get on with it. So the thing I really like doing, and I did it with my little Christmas thing for the Christmas craft off, I'll link that video below and it will come up on your screen up here, is make these little charms out of photos or little digitals. You can print things, you know, 16 or more to a page, and they come out real tiny, and then you can put them on board. So that's what we're going to do with this, except for these are the already made prints that Sue sent me, and I'm going to make a little round charm this time. So I have to choose one of these smaller ladies, and I'm going to see which one sort of looks best in the circle, whether I want some colour. I quite like this one here, which means I'm going to have to do some cutting. Let's have a look what she looks like. How is everybody today? I hope you're all well and enjoying your December. As I said in my other video, if that's gone up already, I'm going away, so I'm sort of filming in advance. So I don't know whether I'll be away or not by the time this goes up. Oh, this is not a Christmas video, a Christmas craft. She's cute, let's use her. Decision made. Right, so cut, if you've got a punch, do it that way, or I mean you can just cut a rectangle and a little tag like that. They look really super cute as well. Now I've got some heavy card, which was like a divider type thing. I'm just trying to find it. So you can use something like off the back of a refill pad or something like that if you want to, but I've got this little piece of heavy cardstock, so I'm going to use that. It's like chipboard. Woo! There we go. That's going to go like that, and then behind her you can just use anything on the back, any sort of, you can use a printable or some music paper or just really plain paper. I've got more of this left from my last video, so I'm just going to use this on the back. It's pretty. This is a ruby and pearl digital. Right, and then I'm going to get to gluing the 3 layers together, and I'm going to try not to make a mess. Now my fingers are quite inky and gluey, and you'll see why, because of course I've made this already to see what it was going to turn out like and that's why I've got inky gluey fingers. The good thing is if you choose something that's kind of ambiguous to go on the back, it doesn't matter which way up it goes. Oops, and that's what I didn't want to do, is get glue on my picture, but never mind. Okay, so then just try and get it as even on that piece of cardstock as you can. And we'll just let that dry. Just give it a bit of a... So we'll let that one dry and come back to it. Next job is making our bag. Now I have stamped this beautiful stamp that is by Tailor Made Journals. So she's done a collaboration or she's gone in with creative expression and done a whole set of stamps, and I think embossing folders maybe, or stencils, can't remember. And Sue was kind enough to send me this one, which I love. Now this glassine that I've stamped it onto is out of a really old like photo album, so it's all yellowed and I don't know, it just looks really cool. So I wanted to try experimenting with that. So I want to make the bag about the same as the stamp, same size as the stamp, so not a big bag. And you can call me the bag lady. I'm completely aware that I have done way too many bags. Never mind. Bags and envelopes, that's what I'm into. They're just so handy. They're just so handy when you're crafting and just for so many different things. So my stamp's not completely straight, which is okay. But I felt like it would be easy to stamp first. Oh, maybe I should have made the bag first and then stamped afterwards, but I needed it to dry. So when you're making videos, drying time is always something to consider. Right, so again, we fold up the bottom and do our little cutty bits, cut these extras off that we don't need. You can cut slightly above the line because then it won't get in the way when you fold the other bit up. So it's a little bit trickier with glassine because it moves around and it's quite slippery. And then my little angle bits. Okay, now this is going to have a little bit that folds over. The top, so I'm going to go about there, I think. Just going to fold that bit there. Hopefully this will work. Fine. I'm just thinking, should I have left more? But anyway, and actually I think this will be easier to tear off. Okay, now I am going to glue this together. All the way up to the top. And the bottom as well. Okay, so there's my bag. And this is my flap that's going to fold down about there, I think. Okay. Now the other thing I sent by Sue was another die that cuts out kind of a lacy thing. This die here, and it looks like this. And I'm just gonna put that across the top, but I'm gonna cut this because I don't want, well, I'm gonna tear it actually because I don't want the glassine showing below this. Yep, that will do. So I'm going to glue that on along the top here. Just cut that like that. So that's our little flat. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to stamp something with this. And I want to use a little bit of colour. So I'm actually going to use this old piece of music cover. This is one of my favourite colours, this sort of green. Now I want to, what did I do with the stamp there? I'll pop this on my block. So ink up the stamp. And hopefully I've done a good job of that. Yep, that's not too bad. And I'm going to use this big 2-inch punch to cut it out. Could just use scissors. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is repeat the stamp on the other side. So about the same, if I can get it the same, but it doesn't actually matter because you're never going to see both sides at the same time. You can see why I get in such a mess with my inking. Okay, and now I'm going to try and get that sort of in the center of my green. Ooh, I think it moved. Never mind. Yeah, it's a little bit wonky, but it's okay. So that's that done. Now this should be pretty dry. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually put a sort of a shine on this with some embossing powder. Hopefully this will go okay. So this is just my embossing ink, heat embossing ink pad. I'm just making sure it's got lots on there. And then I've got this ultra thick embossing powder, which is clear. I'm going to sprinkle that all over it. And try not to get my fingers on it. But okay, pour that back in. I haven't got my glass mat because I normally do this stuff over on my other bench, but anyway, I'm going to pop that back on there and heat it up. And if you want a really thick covering while it's still hot, you can actually throw some more on. More is more. And see if that's stuck. Pop that back in the jar. And yeah, repeat the heating up process. So there we go, there's our little shiny charm. You can do both sides. Now, we want something to go in our bag, so that goes with that. And for that, I'm using this card. and I want something about as wide but not quite as wide. So I'm probably going to just tear it about here, 3 inches. Actually, I think I want it to go this way because I want to turn it over at the top about how much? The stamp's going on it, so there. Okay, so I'll turn it over first. It's not going to hurt to do that. And then, so we want that to fit in the bag. Don't want it too big. So this is just the back of a music manuscript book, a blank music manuscript book that would have been used in a music class or something. Okay, so that's there, and then as far as the length goes, going about there. Okay, now I'm going to do another stamp. I don't normally do a lot of stamping, but when I've got stamps that as beautiful as this, it's lots of fun. Okay, and I'm going to, you probably know what I'm making now, but I'm going to stamp this onto here. Oop. There, like that. Hopefully I'll get it a little bit straight and it'll look like it's meant to look. Just going to hold that down, maybe that will help. Fingers crossed that that looks okay. Okay, just let that dry off a little bit. So that's nice and hard now, and I don't know whether I'm going to put any shiny on the back. The one thing I forgot to do before, and this is best, yeah, to do before you put your shiny stuff on, is ink around here. And I was actually going to put some gold as well, but I forgot. Probably could do it now, but and we're going to put a little hole in this. May have cracked the, yeah, it's probably best to do the hole first. That's okay. Right, ink this. And before I finish it off, I'm going to check it goes in the bag. I may have glued my bag shut. There we go. Okay, it's a bit long. Okay, I'm going to make it a bit shorter. Right, a little bit more stamping. So on the back of this I want to put something, and I was thinking about what I was going to do, and I thought, oh well, I'm in the stamping kind of zone, so maybe I will stamp on the back. So I'm going to do my Old Faithful. This is one of my favourite stamps. I use it a lot. And I'm going to stamp this on the back. Okay, so there's my rose on the back. And then this stamp here is a sample stamp, which Sue may have in her shop. I can check, and if it is, I'll link it below. And I'm just going to stamp this up here, just for fun. Alright, so yeah, I've smudged a bit of ink, but that's that. Right, some fabric. So I kind of want this to look like a little sample maybe from a store. So I'm going to tear it down there. Ish. And I like that floral bit, so I might actually have that at the bottom, even though that makes the rest of it upside down. Doesn't matter. But actually I'll use my pinking shears, because often in those samples they are pinked, aren't they? Just for fun. And I'm going to put that up there. That's going to tuck in up there. And then I've got this piece of old lace. Would you call this lace? And I'm going to put a bit of this on here. Somehow. I don't know what this is off. It's definitely off something. Definitely off something. It doesn't even really make sense, does it? Anyway. Okay, so let's move this out of the way. I'm getting in a bit of a fluster here. This is just, I'm just going to have a piece sort of pinned on around here. Okay, so this piece here is going to get stapled in. Now I did some rusting. And I rusted some staples, so let's just see. I was trying before and it didn't want to really go, but I'm going to just put a rusty staple in here. And I'm actually going to do it on a little bit of an angle. Oh, I think it worked. Did it work? Oh, it didn't quite work. Okay, so push that back through, push them down. The stapler doesn't like it. I've just got a real cheapo stapler, so I'm not really worried now. For this, I'm going to actually use an old safety pin. And I'm just thinking this might be a bit wide to go in the, might not actually fit. Oh, we'll see. So yeah, we'll get a rusty safety pin and we'll pin this on to the fabric, because I couldn't get the stapler to go through all that heavy lace, as you can imagine. There we go. So let's just see if we're going to be able to get this in the bag. Maybe not. Okay. To cut a different piece. I could cut one of these flowers off. Don't like one straight piece like that, I guess. Go with 2. Because that's what's going to fit. There we go. Try and put it up the right way. I think that's the correct way. Okay, so there's our pin. And I am planning on making a seamstress journal in the future. So this will be great for that, this idea. Just trying to put the pin so it's not tucked up under that cardboard to make that so bulky. So there you go. Probably could have used a smaller pin actually. But there we go. Right. Now that is going in our bag. Now our bag is going to be done up with a hole. So let's just get the center of the bag about there and make a little hole. I'm in a bit of a mess, but we're getting there. We're getting there and we're nearly done. So I hope you're good with that. So there's my little hole. And we're going to pop our little thing in, a little sampler. And you could have it going either way. So you could have the fabric showing in the rows at the front, or either way, it doesn't matter. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's the one I made before. This one. Ooh. Try not to rip your bag. And this is quite, obviously I've used delicate old thing, but that's okay. That's what washi tape's for, right? Okay, and then get our ribbon again. So we've got our ribbon and we've got our little dangle. So I'm going to put a hole in here as well. This is going to have a jump ring. Let me see. I have new glasses, well, new lenses in my glasses, so they made my close-up a little bit stronger. They took it up to from 2 to plus 2.25, I think, which is actually great. Because I did say I do a lot of close-up work, and you know, threading needles and things can be problematic. So you could put a little eyelet in there to make it stronger if you wanted to. So this actually says, I think it says from the special ribbon counter. So yeah, you could fill this with ribbons if you wanted to be, you know, a bit more authentic. Could do a whole lot of ribbon samples. Now, is this still too long for our, oh no, I'll push it down a bit and get this through. Get the ribbon through. And then this is going to hook onto here. So it all comes off when you open the bag up. My hands are getting tired. There we go. I'm just going to pull that down and pull that a bit tighter. Then I'm going to cut my ribbon. And there we have a gorgeous little bag. I love it. I love making bags, what can I say? Right, let's have a look for some washi tape to mend that little bit that I made a mess of. I'm going to use something from the Amity Bloom tape. Just a little bit of tape. And I'm going to go that way. It just strengthens that, fixes that little tear. Right, so you can't really see anything with all the mess on my desk. So let me just clear this up. There we go. So there we have our little bag. The other one I made out of what is called butter paper. So it's like a tracing paper, I think. So this is the other one that I made. I didn't turn over so much at the top, so it's got less of a stamp there. And I put a number here and there. So, but this is what we call butter paper. I guess it's a kind of tracing paper. That was just what I used the first time. It's probably a bit stronger. It's not as old and naturally old and yellowed. And here is the little ribbon. So there we go, another little charm. On this one I used one of the vintage, my old vintage gummed sort of price sticker things. They're not sticky anymore. Maybe you're meant to lick them. I don't know, maybe you are actually. And I put another little stamp on there. So there we go, there's my little project for Sue from Paper Inspirations. So thanks, Sue, for having me on your first design team for your online shop. I really appreciate it. I've had an absolute ball, and I thank you so much for the beautiful products that you've sent me, and it's been a really, really amazing experience. So thanks so much, Sue, and good luck for your call out for next year. Hope you enjoyed that. I am going to try and make no more bags for ages. We're all had enough of bags, but I don't know, I just love making them. They're so fun and addictive. So yeah, and they're just so versatile as well for journals or anything. Anyway, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. If you've enjoyed the video, I'd love you to subscribe and hang around with me a little bit more. Give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Just helps people find me on YouTube. And I appreciate all your support. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.